On 11/11 at 11:11 p.m., Tesla released full self-driving version 11, the one stack to rule them all. Or wait, did they? Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. So first of all, big happenings with the prop, right? Finally got new glasses. It was actually the summer before I started my channel in the fall of 2019, the last time I got new glasses. So woohoo! Anyway, hope you all like them because you're probably going to be stuck with them for a few years. So anyway, let me know what you think, but you have to be nice about it. All right, so on to the topic du jour. As many people know, of course, that follow Tesla and their full self-driving beta, version 11 was officially released on November 11th at 11:11 p.m. But the release of full self-driving beta version 11 was really different than the previous versions. If you check out some previous episodes I did, I tried to do release notes as soon as version 11 was released, but they only had the first two of the notes that were confirmed. I then had to do an addendum later when more of the notes were leaked out, and it's still not absolutely confirmed that these are the actual release notes for version 11, primarily because version 11 doesn't really exist in the wild. As far as we know, only a few employees still have this, and it's now been over a month since the November 11th official release. And even more disheartening to those who have been looking forward to version 11, like me, because I really want to try it out on the highway, FSD version 10.69.3.3 was apparently released within the last couple of days and is started to be distributed as well. So clearly version 11 was a half-baked product when it came out, let's say something like that. And also clearly it was done for the memes. You know, Elon Musk loves his memes, and I'm sure he really pressed the full self-driving team to release the product at 11:11 on 11:11 because it's just cool because it was version 11 of the software. So anyway, unfortunately, it really appears that this is a full self-driving meme release rather than a real release. Again, given the fact that we didn't even have real release notes that came along with this, they only kind of came out piecemeal and we still don't know whether they're real. So what we've got instead, of course, is the 10.69.x.x release. That's the release that pretty much everybody who's driving full self-driving is driving right now. So what does that tell us about the situation with Tesla and their full self-driving team? Well, first of all, developing new software that's never been done before when you don't really know what you're doing, right? You don't know exactly where the direction is. I've talked about this before. It's like being lost in a forest at night. You kind of hope that you're going the right direction and you keep bumping into trees and things. So obviously, delays are just going to be inevitable, and it's happened over several years. Actually, apparently there's a lawsuit going on. I just heard about this yesterday, where people are suing Tesla for not having full self-driving when they said they would, and Tesla's defense is, look, we projected that we would try to do this, and nobody's ever done it before, and we're doing the best we can. But you can't say it's fraud when we don't develop it as quickly as we wanted to, because everybody wants it to be developed fast. It's not like we're trying to defraud you. It's just that we can't meet the timelines, the optimistic timelines that we had before. And of course, aside from the single stack aspect, on the roads, 10.69.x has been quite excellent and has been quite an improvement. I haven't really seen first drives with 10.69.3.3 yet, but I'm sure there are improvements there as well. And of course, the old stack, even though it's 4 years old, and that was in the release notes that I discussed, it's a 4-year-old plus stack of software that still uses individual video images and all sorts of things like that. Even though it is that, it works really well on the highway. So whenever you're going to release version 11 with the new FSD beta on the highway, it's got to match a really high bar. And of course, the danger is ultra high on a highway because you're generally traveling very rapidly too. So all of this is to say, I'm not blaming anybody in Tesla's full self-driving team for this. You know, it was an unfortunate attempt to release the software on a memeable time at a memeable day. You know, that was the kind of thing. So anyway, that's the responsibility for this. And I don't hold the team responsible at all for this. But I think there's something else that's going on here as well. And I think it's actually tied to hardware 4 and potentially HD radar and announcements of new products that could be coming out in January. So again, I did a video on this very recently about HD radar and why it's not a step backwards, but an evolutionary step. But the sort of rumors that are going around, and again, all rumors here, right? I don't have any inside information. I could be completely wrong about all of this stuff. But the rumors are indicating that we're looking at mid-January for the release of a new Tesla Model Y potentially, and or new hardware for the Model Y and the Model 3 and potentially the S and X also. But all of this is sort of evolving to look like it might be hardware 4 coming. And so hardware 4, if that happens, will have a much, much faster motherboard on the, on the car itself. It will also have much more high definition cameras with potentially 2 more cameras on the front near the headlights. There have been rumors about that, some images, shot in the wild. So there could be 10 cameras instead of 8, which would again take the place of ultrasonic sensors, because one of the places that they're very weak is directly in front. Ultrasonic is great when you're parking because it can send sound waves off and bounce off of things. And so you can know very, very precisely how far you are away from things. Whereas the vision system is blocked by the hood of the car. And so it can only see a certain distance in front of you, and it's not as precise. So anyway, there's the potential of 10 cameras rather than 8, and then also an HD radar system, or potentially more than one, potentially 2 or 3 of these HD radar systems as well. And so if we're going to be looking at getting this hardware very, very soon, my thought is, again, assuming that any of this is true, is that the software team is being tasked to produce software that will work with this new hardware when these vehicles come out. And if you think about it, we're looking at, it's the 13th of December right now. So if it came out in mid-January, we're just a month away from that. So the software, and we've also got, of course, the holidays. You've got, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, things like that are happening over this next month as well. So a lot of people will be traveling to visit family. So it's not exactly the greatest time in the world to push forward new pieces of software, especially if you have to divide your attention and work on 2 different things. So I have this feeling that version 11 of the software may be hardware 4 only, or it might just be pushed back because they're working on getting the 10.69.3.x version of the software working on hardware 4 as well. Or maybe the version 11 of the software is one that will actually be able to be forked and will work on hardware 3 and hardware 4. But at any rate, I think what we're looking at here is a major hardware advance that's going to be happening within the next month. And that has put a huge drag on the full self-driving software team, because they're having to contend with now, you've got hardware 3 and hardware 4, and you're having to support both of these and roll out software for both of them, which means that their attention is probably shifting away from hardware 3 to some extent, and, pretty heavily on hardware 4 because it's new. So they've got to be able to make it all work with that. And the upshot of this for us consumers that are using these products is that we have not seen updates very, very rapidly recently, and they've really, really ground to a halt within the last month or so. Now, of course, there is this 10.69.3.3, which is a point release, so it's something, but it might be kind of a bug fix and something to get it out there so that, it's safer for consumers to use. There might not be any major upgrades in terms of capabilities of the vehicle. I think they're trying to save most of that for version 11 at this point. And if we're looking at new hardware that's coming out, version 11 could very, very easily be delayed into the new year. And so where does that leave my prediction from a year ago? I'm going to have to eat crow here, because I said I was pretty strongly convinced that they would have better than the average driver capabilities in their full self-driving by the end of this year. And I was counting on Tesla's full self-driving version 11 to produce that thing. And obviously, if that software doesn't come out within the next week or so, that's not going to happen in 2022. So I'm going to have to admit to being wrong and overly optimistic. And, maybe we need to push things back maybe another 6 months or so to get to that point. Now, on the good end of things, if hardware 4 is indeed ready and they're rolling it out, that's going to be fantastic for people who are purchasing new vehicles. And, fingers crossed that Tesla will come up with some reasonable way of back propagating this to people who have hardware 3 on their vehicles. And if and when we get this hardware 4 that's faster, has higher resolution cameras, potentially with HD radar, things like that, if and when we get that, that is going to make a world of difference to the quality of full self-driving, just because there's going to be more visual power. There could be some HD radar, and there will also be a lot more compute power in the vehicle itself. So while things are being delayed, this could actually be really good news for the future of full self-driving. We'll just have to wait and see what turns up. All right, I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it fun and interesting and thought-provoking, and I hope you liked the glasses. Anyway, if you did, please do like the video so other people can find it, and of course, consider subscribing for more of this kind of content. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons on Patreon. Thank you all so much for your support. I truly do appreciate it. It makes a really big difference. I am actually traveling to CES, Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas in early January, so if you happen to be in Vegas around that time, come say hi. And of course, if you want to join the Patreon team, just check out the link in the description. And if you're interested in a whole bunch of really cool merch, check out our merch store. Link is in the description. We have TeslaBot t-shirts, the Tesla meme t-shirt, Success is a Possible Outcome, 4680 battery cells. All of that stuff is on t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, and on. So check it out. And for those of you interested in investing, check out WeBull, an amazing platform for buying and selling stocks, and now cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and others. Open an account and get a free stock valued at up to $200, and fund your account and get another free stock valued at up to $1,600. Check out the link in the description and help the channel at the same time. Thank you. And finally, don't forget we are both Tesla and Amazon affiliates. If you look in the description, you can see how going shopping for a solar roof, a power wall, or anything on Amazon helps out the channel. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.